Brother and lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to brand new video. Now, in this one, we're going to be talking about Alexander Zinchenko. There is a lot coming out of the walls, of the transfer walls, of course, right from David Ornstein to Sky Sport to Fabrizio Romano to the Manchester Evening News. A lot is being said around Alexander Zinchenko, and the Mail are claiming that a deal is very, very close to being agreed between Manchester City and Arsenal over a 35 million deal. So what I've done is I'm going to break down for you this deal and what is happening, everything you need to know about Alexander Zinchenko signing for Arsenal, and then I will do a back-to-back upload. I will give you the rest of the transfers in another video. So I'm going to do two back-to-back uploads. The other one after this one. Make sure you watch both of them. I'm sorry for that inconvenience, but I want us to talk about Alexander Zinchenko because it is a deal moving very, very fast. Now, hit the like button for me if you really like Arsenal content, because this is the platform that will get you that, and also subscribe to the channel as well, because we are very, very close to 54,000 subscribers. Now, yesterday, David Ornstein was the journalist that came out and broke the story that Arsenal were working on a deal to sign Alexander Zinchenko from Manchester City after missing out on Lisandro Martinez. This morning, Fabrizio Romano has announced a here we go. He has given us an endorsement on Lisandro Martinez, and he has said Lisandro Martinez to Manchester United, here we go. I think a deal has been agreed on around 54 million euros. Now, Arsenal have always had a backup or a plan B and also a plan C for Lisandro Martinez. And the plan B, surprisingly or not surprisingly, has always been Alexander Zinchenko. Now, Fabrizio this morning has come out and said Manchester City are still targeting Marc Cucurella. No changes. Talk will enter into the important stages in case Alexander Zinchenko joins Arsenal. City are open to letting Zinchenko leave this summer. Arsenal working on a Zinchenko deal. Sergio Gomez is the backup option to Alexander Zinchenko. No changes here since I reported yesterday, of course, from Fabrizio Romano as well, that we want two left back options. That is Alexander Zinchenko, and the backup is Sergio Gomez from Anderlecht. So he's not making any changes, but reiterating and echoing the words we spoke about yesterday. But since yesterday until now, a lot has happened in this deal, and I think it is one that Manchester City really want to get out of the way. They want to do it as quickly as possible, because one thing I've learned with Manchester City, although they've taken a lot of time negotiating the Gabriel Jesus deal and Manchester and Raheem Sterling to Chelsea, they're a club that do their business as early and quickly as possible. I'm very, very surprised and that they're still in the market until now, and the reason probably is because they've had a couple of players leaving. One thing we can also confirm today with Manchester City is that they will not be losing Nathan Ake. So I think the last player to leave Manchester City among the big names could be Alexander Zinchenko. The likes of Zach Steffen have also left the club. Raheem Sterling, Gabriel Jesus have all left the club this summer. And Nathan Ake is going to be staying. There were rumors that he was going to Chelsea, but they failed to agree on a price. And the Athletic this morning have told us that Nathan Ake will be staying with Manchester City this summer. Pep Guardiola views him as a very, very important part of the process. So that means if Nathan Ake stays, then Alexander Zinchenko will be moving on. A price has not been agreed, but according to Sky Sport, a bid is incoming from Arsenal. A lot of work has been done, in the past week between Manchester City and Arsenal to make sure that both clubs feel, a deal is going to be happening very, very soon. Now, this is according to the Arsenal view, and they've said there is growing expectation that Alexander Zinchenko will complete a move to Arsenal. There is still work to be done to agree on a fee and also personal terms. However, but enough progress has been done and made over the past week for the transfer to be seen as a live possibility now by all sides. That is according to the Arsenal view, and I think there are no changes there. There is nothing. There is nothing. Blocking the move. So both sides feel they've done a lot of work. They've done. a lot of underground work on this one, and the price should be agreed very, very soon. All the rumors of the price are still not yet confirmed. The only kind of valuation we have is from the transfer market website, and also from the Daily Mail, which is around £35 million. Now, thinking about it, I think Arsenal will be going for a player that has Premier League, that is Premier League proven, has won a couple of Premier League titles, I think 3 of them, and three EFL Cups and 1 FA Cup. 35 million. I don't think that is bad money. I don't think that is a bad deal in our own end, because if you look at what we are getting in Alexander Zinchenko, a player that can also play in that left midfield area. Now, a couple of sources, again, a couple of people have come out and said the signing of Alexander Zinchenko will mean that Arsenal will not sign Yuri Tielemans. However, I do not think so. I'm not really convinced. I'm not 100% convinced that the signing of Alexander Zinchenko actually blocks Yuri Tielemans to Arsenal. Yes, I mean, when you think about it and you look into it, what Freddie Paxton said, that Arsenal looking for a left back, a left central midfielder, and also an attacker. And actually, he didn't say a left central midfielder, but he said a central midfielder, and then an attacker. Then, if we sign Alexander Zinchenko, you have a player that can give you 2 players in one. A player that can play for you as a left back, and a player who can play for you as a left central midfielder. But the question here, lads, is if Alexander Zinchenko has to back up Kieran Tierney, then Xhaka has to move straight into the team. And I think that is not what Mikel Arteta is looking for. We know Arteta is a big fan of Granit Xhaka, loves him very much. But in terms of looking for that ball progressor, in terms of looking for that smart central midfielder, I don't think he trusts Xhaka's qualities to the extent that he will bring in one player to cover as a, to cover as a central midfielder, and also cover as a backup left back. Unless Arsenal are telling us they are signing Alexander Zinchenko as a central midfielder because he wants to play as a central midfielder, and he can play as a central midfielder. Most of the times we've seen him in that kind of not really inverted, but in that kind of elbow system with Pep Guardiola. At times we've seen him play starting from the midfield, going up front, and then him occupying the central midfield, him coming in at times for Bernardo Silva and playing in that central midfield area, because the left back is always Joao Cancelo. So it's going to be very interesting to see what Mikel Arteta really wants to do with Alexander Zinchenko. £35 million for me is not bad money, and I don't think Manchester City are going to be holding out for 35 million only. They will listen to offers. I think it could be a fee could be agreed between £28 million to £33 million. The Mail are still speculating, so there is nothing agreed here, and there is nothing consolidated. We're still waiting for that official price to be released by Manchester City, and that is when we'll know whether Arsenal will be buying Alexander Zinchenko for an overpriced price or for a fair price. But for me, I think if it is below 40 million euros, then Arsenal are going for real value. Look, Lisandro Martinez is 24. Alexander Zinchenko is 26. Zinchenko has played in the Premier League. Very, very good player as a left back. If you think about it, Arsenal are in the market to look for a left back. Yes, we wanted to bring in one player that can give you both, that can play in both positions as a centre back and also as a left back. I understand, but Alexander Zinchenko is more useful as a left back and more useful as a left central midfielder. And we understand that Kieran Tierney's fitness is a problem. I think, I could be the only person who thinks that, but I think it is a problem, and the only way Arsenal can deal with it is by signing in someone to back him, someone capable, someone very, very strong. And I think Alexander Zinchenko is very strong as a left back. Probably not defensively, but going forward, and the importance of that fullback position would actually come out. And I won't be very, very surprised if Alexander Zinchenko probably in the next 2 campaigns overtakes Kieran Tierney in terms of playing regular football for Mikel Arteta, because it's very, very creative, and it's one of those players that understand the 4-3-3 and total football and positional play. Yes, we might keep on playing that 4-2-3-1 system, but we have already seen it. Whenever we are in possession, it becomes a 4-3-3 or even becomes a 4-1-4-1 system. At times, it even becomes a 3-5-2, a 3-4-3, depending on how Mikel Arteta decides to set up. So, Alexander Zinchenko, the player is open to moving to Arsenal. City are willing to sell, which makes life very easier. And Arsenal have already highlighted him as a priority after losing out on Lisandro Martinez. I think it's a very easy deal to do. Anyone at Arsenal, everyone that supports Arsenal, this one is a very easy deal to do, unless Arsenal fail to agree on a price with Manchester City. But I do not feel we will, right? If you look at how we negotiated with Manchester City on Gabriel Jesus from the 60 million pounds they were asking for to around 44 million pounds or 45 million pounds, and then I don't think this one is going to be even hard, because they want to bring in Marc Cucurella, and that is to our advantage. Of course, it is to the destruction of Premier League clubs. Just imagine us having Alexander Zinchenko and Kieran Tierney and Gabriel Jesus and Fabio Vieira and Martin Odegaard. It is absolutely to the destruction of Premier League clubs, and also we are creating a hole. We are creating a space for Manchester City to sign Marc Cucurella. It is also to the destruction of Premier League clubs, including us. Just imagine Joao Cancelo and Marc Cucurella in that Manchester City side. One motivating the other. It is going to be absolute sins. But one thing here I will say is that the agent of the player said a dozen of Premier League clubs are looking at the player and they're pushing to sign him. The player has not had an agreement with Arsenal, so he can join any other club. And also a couple of other clubs, including AC Milan and a couple of clubs abroad, are willing to sell. Now, are willing to buy. But one thing I know with Manchester City, I think they trust their team, and they trust the manager, and they trust whatever they have. They are not afraid to selling to opponents, to rivals. They're not afraid to do that. If you have the money they are looking for, they will sell to you. Definitely, we've already seen it with Sterling and Sterling, Zach Steffen, and Gabriel Jesus. The moment you come in and you have the money, they are not standing in the way of the player. They will sell. They will sell to you. But I think part of that is the fact that I think it becomes boring if your opponents become weaker and you're getting stronger by the day. So it works for them to win the title with some challenge, just to add some credibility and value to their title winning seasons. But also I think Premier League clubs are always willing to give you more money and pay more money up front, and also more money in guaranteed payments as compared to Juventus and AC Milan. That's why we have a greater advantage in signing Alexander Zinchenko. So we do not have an agreement with the player, but that is not expected to be a problem. Personal terms are not expected to be a problem. What is the problem is the deal. Sky say a deal is incoming, a bid is incoming. Fabrizio says Arsenal's deal is key for Marc Cucurella to join Manchester City, and that's why I think it's a deal that Arsenal will do very, very soon. Very, very soon. So let's keep an eye on this one. I'm coming back with the Lucas Paqueta links, and people saying it's no longer a priority. It's not a priority. Gunnar Block says it's not a priority. We're gonna talk about that.